What about debt covenants? Is this a concern? At one time it was thought about it could be a concern. So what's your perspective?
So I would say it depends. So as the standard is currently written in the basis for conclusions, you have the concept of operating lease liabilities and finance lease liabilities. And the board, in their basis, actually stated that operating lease liabilities are not debt-like, whereas finance lease liabilities are. So we suspect that we're going to see companies start to either negotiate or renegotiate their debt covenants to better define that a capital lease under old GAAP is more like a finance lease liability under current GAAP and exclude operating lease liabilities from their debt covenants. It's really going to depend upon how indebtedness is defined in an agreement. If indebtedness is defined very broadly to say anything recognized under GAAP as a liability, then there's a risk that your debt covenants actually might be impacted because operating lease liabilities would be included in that bucket. But more often than not, we see that it's defined as capital leases today, and so it may just be a very targeted change to just change the nomenclature from capital leases to finance lease liabilities.
So it depends on definitions in your contract, but it sounds like an area that clearly needs to be thought through and looked at upon adoption.
Yeah, there's also a concept of frozen GAAP. A lot of times debt covenants will say that it's GAAP as of the date that you entered into the debt agreement. The challenge that creates is that now companies have to keep two sets of books. And so if there's a way that you can negotiate targeted changes in order to address the new nomenclature, then that may be the most effective path for companies.